Dear students, we have to study about the national movement in India, partition and independence. In this topic, we have to study the period of 1937 to 46, India's political themes. According to the Act of 1935, Indian people, especially provinces government, could hold the election, and the winning party can form a government at the provinces levels. So, on the basis of the on the basis of this 1935 Act, 1937 election was held in India. 11 provinces in British India, 11 provinces participated in the election. In 11 out of the 11 provinces, 8 provinces government was formed by the Congress. Congress ministry was formed. 3 provinces non-Congress ministry was formed. But during that time, just after the 2 years, Second World War was broke out. When Second World War broke out in 1939, it was a big dilemma for the Indian National Congress as well as the British. When British give the freedom for the India ready to give support for the British to fight against the Axis power. Indian people all, even all the leaders and people all expected the British would give the freedom to the India and India would support the British in the Second World War. But British are not ready to give any kinds of freedom for the India. They wanted to continue in India as long as possible, especially the Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of the Britain, not ready to give any kinds of freedom for the India. They want to continue as long as possible in the India. They had given dominion status to India. They promised to give dominion status to India under the British crown. But Congress asked complete freedom for the India. Then the British asked, Congress has no right to ask complete freedom for the India because Congress is not a real representative of the India. Number of other peoples are not represented by the Congress, especially Muslims and Dalit peoples, suppressed people. They are not represented in the Congress. Congress are the no representative of these people. That is why it is impossible to give freedom for the India. So Congress now ready to give any kind of support for the British in the time of Second World War. So British take it as a challenge, and British try to follow divide and rule policy in the India. They encouraged the Muslim League. Actually, Muslim League was formed in 1906, but it was very much inactive. It was very inactive and present only the UP among some Jamindaris. But what happened after the 1930-32 onwards, Jinnah become more active. British started giving more encouragement for these Muslim people to become very powerful against the Congress, and they began to accuse Congress as a party of the Hindus. Meanwhile, there is a Hindu Mahasabha also become very active. There is a communal problem occurred within the international movement. So this communal problem created much benefit for the Muslim League to become very powerful party. In 1940, within the 3-4 years, the Muslim League became very powerful party. In 1940, Muslim League leader Muhammad Ali Jinnah asked autonomical status for the Muslim majority area in the India. So it is very difficult demand for the Muslim Indian National Congress. Nobody can accept that. But instead of these demands, only one way before the Indian National Congress and other leaders, there is separate state for the Muslim leaders. This demand is later called as a Pakistan Resolutions. It is called as a Pakistan Resolutions. Meantime, 1942, Chris Mission came to the India. Chris Missions talked to Indian National Congress and Mahatma Gandhi, gave support for the India. But Indian National Congress as well as Mahatma Gandhi asked first Viceroy should appoint an Indian as a defense member of the Indian Viceroy's councils. So because of this demand, the Chris Mission was totally failed. Then after Quit India movement took places, just after the period of the Chris Missions, Mahatma Gandhi started Quit India movement. In that time, Gandhi had given a slogan, it is called do or dies. While you die, the time of the freedom struggle, otherwise continue to fight against the British. It is a slogan given by the Mahatma Gandhi to the Indian people, do or die. Okay. Then it is continued, but during this period of 1942-1945, almost 1942 itself, almost all the national leaders of the India was arrested and kept in the jail. no much movement took place. Only individual satyagraha took place in the India. Individually, one or two members go and one people go and talk against the British. In that time, he was arrested and kept in that jail. But in that time, a big event took place. That is INA's work. International armies started by the Subhash Chandra Bose in Japan and started to attack the British. And he wanted to free the India through armed struggle with the support of the Axis power. But it was failed in 1945 when Japan was failed in the Second World War. Then INA was totally surrendered by the British forces. Subhash Chandra Bose was missed. We don't know what happened in the Subhash Chandra Bose in that time. So 1946 again cabinet mission was appointed to India to talk about India's freedom. But cabinet mission proposed a 3-tier federal system for the India, but it was not accepted by the. At first, everyone accepted it, but because of internal problem within the political party, it was not accepted. It was failure. Meantime, Muslim League tired. They thought that it is impossible to give separate states and solve the problem of the Muslim League. They asked. They proclaimed Direct Action Day. In Direct Action Day was started in 1946, August 16th. They declared Direct Action Day. In this day, in the day on which a big struggle, a big war took place, a big communal riot took place in the northern part of India. It has become very severe. It continued a number of years. Then, at last, 1947, Mountbatten, the last viceroy of the British, proclaimed freedom for the India in 1947, August 15th, and India was divided. India would be divided into the two parts, Pakistan and India. In this way, this freedom struggle came to be end. India got freedoms. But after the partition, a big migration occurred. No one thought that they had to go out from the India, especially Muslims. So when after the partition, people are asked to go out from the India, the Muslim people now ready to go from the India. It is a big problem for the Muslim people to leave their birthplace and go to the faraway places. Same problem occurred to the Hindu who living in the Pakistan. Number of people, crores of people migrated, thousands or lakhs of people killed because of the communal riots. Middle of this riot, Mahatma Gandhi conducted all religion meetings. And because of the initiative of Mahatma Gandhi, a law was proclaimed for the India. India would be stood for the secular state. It was the law proposed by the Mahatma Gandhis. Right Congress, at the initiative of the Mahatma Gandhi and Nehru, Congress now passed a resolution on the right of the minority. Congress party had never accepted the two-nation theories. It was forced to accept a partition against its will. It will believe that India is a land of many religions and many races and must remain so. So India can continue as a all religion nation, and India would be a secular that I always. But it was not liked by the number of religion section of the India, especially Hindus. Mahatma Gandhi's all religion meeting was rejected by the Hindu sections. In 1948, January 30th, Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated by the one Hindu fanatics. It was the death of the Mahatma. It was a brutal death for the Mahatma Gandhi. He lived for the India's freedom, sacrificed India's freedom struggle. At last, he died by one fanatics. After the 1948, 1947, integration of state was other important problem before the India. Almost all the states come and join with the Indian unions. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel had given charge for integration of the Indian state. All the native states was joined with the Indian unions except Hyderabad and Junagadh. Later it also become part of the India through the police force. This is something about the Indian national movement in India, partition and independence. The students, we have to study about the making of independent India's constitutions. When India got independent in 1947, we did not have the independent constitutions. We had a constitution that is given by the British. It is proposed by it is made by interest of the British. So we need a constitution. Before the independence itself, people felt about the constitution for the India. So 1946, Constituent Assembly was formed to make a constitution for the India's. Constitution set of law Constitution is a set of law which decide the future of the country. It will decide the function of the state. So on the basis of the Constitution, everything will be decided by the government. So how Indian Constitution was made? For the purpose 1946 CA was set up, or Constituent Assembly was set up. It was elected in 1946. Provinces, among the 11 provinces, 292 members were selected from there, indirectly elected from there, and 93 members come from the native state. Native state they selected. These members are had given power to form the constitution. From there, a draft committee was formed. The draft committee head is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the head of the draft committee of the constitutions. Under the leadership of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the making of the constitution process was continued. 1946 onwards, after the after studying the number of constitution in the world, I glanced to 1948. The draft constitution was proposed. Draft constitution was proposed by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and 1949 November 26th, Indian Constitution was approved, and 1950 January 26th, Indian Constitution came to force. Within the Indian constitutions, number of things we had taken from the other constitutions. The draft constitution consists of number of things from the other constitution. It is the most lengthiest constitution in the world. Number of articles and number of schedules all longer than the larger than the other constitutions. We can see here. Then most important characteristics of the Indian constitution is the parliamentary system. Parliamentary system of the Indian constitution come from the other countries. That is British parliamentary system. What is British parliamentary system? The same thing only, mostly we can the Indian parliamentary system. The head of the British parliamentary system is king. King has no much power. All the power in the case of in the hand of the parliament. Parliament will decide the rules and regulations of the countries. Parliament is a legislative body, law-making bodies. Prime Minister is the head of this parliamentary system. Prime Minister has more power than the king in the British Parliament. The same thing we can see the Indian Parliament. Indian Parliament, head of the India is the president. He is equal to the British king in the Britons. In the Indian president did not have the much power, same like a prime minister. All the power in the India is vested with the parliament. Parliament member in Indian parliament members are 545. 545 parliament members are taking the decision of the India. It was implemented by the executive body, executive headed by the prime minister, not a president. The same system we can see the Britain also, but only one different head of the India is president is indirectly elected by the people. At the same time, head of the Britain is king. He is not elected by the people. He is hereditary based followings. That is the difference of the Indian parliamentary system and the British parliamentary system. Other important thing we can see federalism in the India. Indian federalism is totally different from the American federalism. Actually, according to the we have two type of constitution. One is federal constitution, other is unitary constitution. In federal constitution, all the power is divided to the state government and the central government. There we can see duality. Everything, all type of the rules and regulations are dual. We can. There is a state rules and regulation and a central rules and regulation. State court, a central court. State citizenship, central citizenship. The duality we can see federalism. This true federalism we can see in the America. At the same time, India. In the case of the politics, there is a two state. There is a two government, state government and the central government. But there is no dual citizenship. We have only single citizenship, and there is no separate judiciary for the India. We have only one judiciary, that is integrated judiciary. That is the peculiarity of the Indian uniqueness of the Indian constitution. Indian constitution partially unitary constitution and partially federal constitution. It is because of avoiding the disintegration of the countries. The time of the making of Indian constitution makers felt that if we continue true federalism, India would be divided into the number of parts. In order to avoid the division of the country, we followed unitary characteristics in the Indian constitutions. These most important characteristics of the India. The time of the preparation of the Indian Constitution, there is a number of debate occurred in the Indian Constitutions about the fundamental rights and about the character of the Indian Constitution. Especially untouchability was discussed in the Indian Constitutions. It was not decided at last. It was given, the definition about untouchability was given to the Parliament. Then when we can see other important thing in the Indian Constitution is social engineering. Indian Constitution has given number of welfare measures for the Indian people, especially Dalit people, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes to go to reservation. This is because improvement of the untouchable people or suppressed people in India. Like number of centuries they were under the control of the landlord. They did not have the much right. They did not have any kinds of land ownership. They suffered a lot of problem. To improve their condition, the Constitution had given number of benefit for the welfare measure for these people. That is the other important thing we can see. These are the most important thing we can see these India's constitutions. Dear student, next we have to study about the election process in India. Actually, before the independence itself, Indian leaders decided India would be a democratic country. So, Indian Constitution was formed before the independence start the formation of the Indian Constitutions. This Indian Constitution declared India would be a democratic republic. But direct democracy is not possible in India. In direct democracy, all the people in the country should be come to the one place and take a decision about the governmental systems. But it's not possible come to one place and take a decision is impossible. That is why election is necessary. Conducting election in the vast country like India is also a big risk, because the time of independence, most of the people of India are illiterate, and conducting election is very much risk for the India government. But even though in 1952 first generation held in India, in these times India suffered a lot of problem to conduct the election, because most of the people of India is illiterate. They don't know what is democracy. They don't know what is vote. They don't know what is election. So first the national leaders have to educate the people what is election, everything. So it was this times in our election commission come with a novel ideas. It is called a symbol. They used the symbol for the illiterate peoples to understand the candidate. So the people could understand the symbol. The symbol now also we are following. In the time of first generations, the polling booth, they arranged a separate ballot box for each candidate. Thereby people can come, voters can come and cast their vote very proper manner. In this first generation held in India. To conduct the election commission was appointed in the India. The election commission was set up in India in 1950 January. 25th election commission was set up in India. It is an autonomous body. The main task of the election commission is to conduct election in the legislative, state legislative and parliamentary elections. And also election conducted in the vice president, the president, or by the election commission. This is the autonomous body. Other important thing is election commission did not have any kinds of staff to conduct elections. But according to the Indian Constitution articles, in Indian Constitution Article 324(6) proclaimed that the time of elections, election commission can appoint all the government employee for conducting the elections. The power has given to the election commission by Indian constitutions. In that time, election commission has full power over these employees. In this way, election commission conducted election all over the India. The chief election commissioner is the head of the election commissions. We have now chief election commissioner and two other election commissioners we have. The election commission, she or he should be appointed from the Indian civil service. The main function of the election commissions are three: administrative function and judiciary functions, quasi-judiciary function and advisory functions. Administrative function is controlling the elections. The main administrative function of the election commission is to conduct the elections and review the electoral rolls and make the demarcation of the constituency and constitutional limit. This is all important administrative function of the election commissions. Advisory function, whenever any leaders, any parties are made any kinds of problems or any candidate, elected candidate make any kinds of problem, it is the duty of the Election Commission to inform, advise the governor to take a penalty or punishment to these particular candidates. This is advisory function of the election commissions. Then when we come to the other topic is other important function is quasi-judiciary functions. In the time of the elections, if any dispute occurred between the political parties, it is in that time the election commission has power to solve this dispute. Election commission acts as a kind of judiciary in that times. This is important three function of the election commissions. In India, political parties are appointed. Political parties are formed all over the multi-party political systems are there in the India. But these political parties got symbol from the election commission. Election commission provided symbol for each political party according to their mandates. At the same time, election commission divided political party system into two: regional party and a national party. The party which the party which mean 3% of the vote in a legislative assembly is recognized as a regional party or state parties. In any legislative election, the party received or won 3% of the valid vote, they are called as a regional party. At the same time, some regional party has more power in the other state also. They have not only the particular region, they have power sometime all over the India. A party which has been 6% valid vote in 4 states, we can consider as a national parties. These are the two type of parties we can see in India: regional parties and national parties. Then other important things we can see here: the model code of conduct. The time of election, the election commission proclaimed followed a model code of conduct for each and every parties. Every party has to follow model code of conduct. If any party violates the model code of conduct, the party will get a penalty. Sometimes the candidate membership will be cancelled. Number of problems they have to be suffered. Model presiding officer is the officer who look after the time of votings. Presiding officer look after the polling in the polling booth. Returning officer look after the constituency polling. Is the head of the constituency in the time of the elections. It is in the time of the elections. In the election we can be divided. 2-3 type of elections are there: by-elections, mid-term election, and general elections. Every 5 years after there is election in India, it is called general election. In that time, all the constituency election will be held. It is called general election. At the same time, any candidate died or any vacant occurred in the particular seat, the particular seat only election held. The election will be held. That is called by-elections. Sometime before the tenure of the elections, before the completion of the period of the government, the government will be dissolved, and before a new election will be held all over the country, all over the state. It is called mid-term elections. Before the completion of the period, government will be dissolved and a new election will be held all over the state or country. It is called mid-term election. In this mid-term election, very important for exam, you have to study by-election and general election. These are the important we have to study about the election. The time of the votings, nowadays we are going on electronic voting machines. Before we followed ballot paper, now electronic voting machine we are following. The voters can go to the polling booth and cast his vote against the particular symbol and candidate. And also now we have nota also in the time of elections. Nota means none of the above. If any candidate, any voters did not like to give vote for any candidate of the any candidate who contests in the elections, he can give the chance to nota. That means the voters not interested to give vote for any contesting candidate. In that time, he can give vote for the nota. It was implemented in the India in 2030 according to judgment of the Supreme Court. These are the most important thing we have to study in this chapter, election process in the India. Next, we have to study independent India first 30 years. After the independence, first 30 years, political experience we can study in these topics. First, the government take a step for conducting the first general elections. In 1952, first general election held in India. In these elections, Congress win majority seats. Not only first elections, second election in 1957 second election and 1962 third election. In these three elections, Congress win majority seat in the central level and all over the India, and making other party as a nothing, reducing other party as a nothing. In this way, Congress power very highly increases. 70% of the seats won by the Congress. At the same time, Congress received 45% votes in the first three general elections. So 1950 to 1962, means 15 years period, the Congress became a dominant party in the India. So Congress power showed a kind of one party dominant in the countries. Means there is a 70% votes, 70% seats got by the one party. Surely there is a domination we can say. But within the Congress, the much dominant power did not come. Reason is that within the Congress there is a number of group emerged. Actually, the party continuously win 3-4 times. Surely a kind of dominant, one party dominance should be continued, and it may be changed from diverted from the democracy to undemocratic countries, because all power in the hand of the political leader. His word will be the rules and regulation of the country, but it did not take place in the Indian National Congress. The reason is that within the Indian National Congress, number of small group emerged. They began to reject the government decisions. This group, with the help of the other political parties, began to reject the government. That is why within the Congress a kind of inbuilt corrective mechanism emerged. Thereby we can see, even though one party rule continued in the India nearly 30 years, in this Indian democratic system did not go for the undemocratic government. India continued democracy. India just after the independence always. That is the importance of the Indian democratic system, because the reason why Indian democracy strengthens. But after the 1967 Indian democracy more strengthened, because the number of regional parties developed in the India. They began to challenge the Indian National Congress. Then most important challenge faced by the independent India, state reorganization. Before the independence itself, the Indian National Congress had given promise for the state to be reorganized on the basis of the language. But after the independence, the Nehru and the government did not take any initiative measure for reorganization of the state on the basis of the language. They afraid that when the state organized on the basis of language, it would be cause for the again division of the India. Before India divided into the two parts, Pakistan and India, on the basis of religion. Same like on the basis of language, India would be divided into the number of pieces. The peer made Indian National Congress and government to take any step for the division of the country on the basis of the language. But all over the India, mostly South Indian state, there is a regional movement started for the state reorganization. Samyukta Maharashtra and some Maha Gujarat movement, Andhra Mahasabha movement, the like movement started. Among this movement, most important movement is Andhra Mahasabha movement. It became more severe movement after the 1950s. Before the independence itself, the movement started. They wanted a separate state for the Telugu-speaking people all over the Telugu area who speak in the Telugu language should be united and become a separate state. Potti Sri Ramalu's fast death due to the fast created more problem within the politics. Later, in 1953, Andhra state was formed and SRC, State Reorganization Commission, was formed on the basis of report given by the SRC or State Reorganization Commission 1956. First state was formed in India. Andhra Pradesh was formed 1956, followed by 14 regional 14 state formed on the basis of the language. In this way, state reorganization was took place in the India. Other important challenge faced by the independent India just after the India independent is socio-economic change. Indian Constitution guaranteed each and every citizen of India should have political, social and economic status, justice and equal opportunity for everyone. In order to provide these all things, government has taken a number of political change and social and economic change. So this all change carried by the Indian National Congress by 5-year plan. Nehru's 5-year plan is not merely economic plan, it is a political and social plans. According to these 5-year plans, they made this 5 plan consists of 3 components. First, land reform, and the second one is establishment of the cooperative society. Third one is establishment of the local self-government. Within the land reform, we can see the component abolishment of the Jamindari system and Land Tenure Act and Land Tenure Act and also Land Sealing Act. Then they established cooperative society to provide the input for the farmers, and local self-government also established to carry out this land reform work. But this land reform was carried out all over the India in a half-hearted manner because those who are the prominent and dominant people in the area again become most important landholder of the area, and landless, most of the people remain as a landless people, especially most of the Dalit people continue as a landless people in the India. That is a problem, one of the defect of the socio-economic change to place in the India. Then next important topic discussed in this chapter is foreign policy of India. Indian foreign policy is non-alignment policies proposed by the Jawaharlal Nehru. In the time of independence, world divided the two group, capitalist group and socialist group. India did not want to join with the socialist group and the capitalist group and wanted to remain independent foreign policy in the bipolar world. This is called non-alignment policy. India followed that. Then the time of the just after the death of the Jawaharlal Nehru, 1964, Lal Bahadur Shastri became the Prime Minister of India, and he followed a number of, he faced a number of problems. First, anti-Hindi agitations and war with China. Other important problem he faced. Anti-Hindi agitation started in the Tamil Nadu area. Government proposal for making Hindi as a official language of India rejected by the Tamil Nadu people started a big struggle. There is a pro-Hindi within the Congress. There is a two-section merged, the pro-Hindi people and anti-Hindi people. At last, Lal Bahadur Shastri proposed for the equal status for every regional language, and the regional language made as a official language of the every region, and Hindi made as a national language of the Indians. In this way, the problem was solved. Then other important things we can see here. 1967 elections, Congress lost their power first time in the state level. Nearly half of the state lost by the Congress 1967 elections, and the national level Congress seat was reduced to nearly 50%. It was the first blow got by the Congress. At first time, the Congress got a big loss in the history of the India, 1967. Other important thing in the Indian democracy, multi-party democracy system very highly developed in India, 1967 after. So it is then after 1970, after the 1966, Lal Bahadur Shastri died. 1967 election. Just after that, Indira Gandhi became Prime Minister of India. Indira Gandhi continued, and Indira Gandhi had given number of promises for the people of India, but unable to fulfill the promise. It created unpopularity of the Indira Gandhi. But 1970, Bangladesh war given more popularity for the Indira Gandhi, and Indira Gandhi again came to the power in 1971 elections. Then again, after the, even though Indira Gandhi had given more promise, again she is unable to give fulfill this promise. During this time, more economic problem happened in India. Petrol price very highly increased due to the Palestine Gulf War, Israel-Palestine war. So the essential commodity cost very highly increased. At the same time, Indira Gandhi unable to fulfill the promise. This all created a kind of problem among the people. People began to fight against the Indira Gandhi. Jayaprakash Narayan started a movement. It is called as a JP movement. It is a movement against the Congress government. At that time, Allahabad High Court given judgment against the Indira Gandhi. This judgment cancelled the membership of the Indira Gandhi in Parliament. So this all create a kind of problem among the Indira Gandhi. So because of, due to this all problem, Indira Gandhi proclaimed emergency in the India. The time of emergency, brutal problems suffered by the people of India. More than 2 years, nearly 2 years, Indian people suffered emergency. Up to emergency, we have to study in this chapter. After the emergency, what happened, this all we can discuss in the next chapter.